Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Bears. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video here on the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another episode of Madden What If. Here on Madden 23, that is right, episode number 7 of Madden What If. We are going to be taking a look at today. Obviously, you already know from the title, the thumbnail, all that stuff. We are going to be taking a look at what if the 2008 Detroit Lions did not go winless. That is right. So a little bit of history if you're not familiar. The 2008 Detroit Lions were a bad football team. They were just so bad all around. They didn't have anything on their roster really except for like Calvin Johnson. Megatron was really their only their only bright spot in the entire team. And they went winless. They had quarterbacks like John Kitna, Dan Orlovsky, Joey Harrington, guys that you would never want to be your starting quarterback. They were the Detroit Lions starting quarterbacks in this era of Lions football, and the 2008 Lions did go winless. Now, obviously, they aren't the only team to go winless in the modern era, because the 2016 Cleveland Browns or 2017? I think it's the 2016 Cleveland Browns. They went winless with Deshaun Kaiser as their starting quarterback. So maybe we'll take a look at the Browns in a future video, a future what if video. But as of right now, we are taking a look at the Detroit Lions in 2008. What if they did not go winless? So we're going to take a look at the roster right now. Now, I do want to say right up front that you may see some players that weren't on that 2008 initial roster, like Kevin Jones. He was on the 2007 roster, but he leaves in 2008 and he goes and plays for another team. I didn't make this roster. I had to find one that was close enough to it, and I found this one, and it seems to be good enough. We've got Calvin Johnson. We've got Roy Williams. Is it Roy Williams? It's Roy Williams. Yeah, that's what I thought. We've got the players that were on the Lions in this time span. Maybe they weren't on this exact team, because we do have Dan Orlovsky, we've got Harrington, we got Jeff Garcia. I mean, we've got guys that were on the Lions in this era. We just might not have everybody that was on that exact 2008 Lions team, just because somebody hasn't made that exact roster, and I'm not going to spend the time to make it. I don't have the time to do that. So we've got it good enough, close enough for this simulation. It's not going to matter too much. But obviously, we are back into the 2008 era. We are in that time span, and we are going to be seeing what would have happened if the Lions did not go winless. Would their history in this era, would it change? Would they be any different? I don't know. We're going to take a look as we go around the league. I was just checking to make sure that this roster didn't have like Matt Ryan and stuff on it, so that we could do the 2008 draft class, because I'm pretty sure that's the era, or that's the roster that we need to, the draft class that we need to load in. So we know what this Lions team is. It's not very good at all. It went winless. A lot of these same guys were on that team. But we're going to change that. We are going to change the fact that the Lions went winless, and I'm assuming we can at least get one win in this first season. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We can get at least one win, and maybe we don't want to get more than one win, because we want to have a good draft pick so we can get a good quarterback, and maybe that quarterback is Matt Ryan. Maybe it's Vince Young. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see as we move forward in these next couple of draft classes. But we have to find a quarterback, either if it's in free agency or trade or something, the draft, whatever it is, we have to find a quarterback early on if we want to have some success in these 5 years. So year one, this is what the roster looks like. Calvin Johnson obviously is our bright spot, along with Roy Williams. The defense, not much to be excited about. We do have Sean Rogers and Dre Bly. Those are about the two best players on the defense that we can look forward to. But other than that, there's not really much about this team. There's a reason why they didn't win any games. So we're going to simulate year number 1. I will load in the 2008 draft class, and we will get ready to go for that offseason, the first offseason here in this What If video. But I'm excited. If you guys have any suggestions for future What If episodes, leave them down below in the comments section, and I will be happy to possibly add them to the roster of What If video suggestions, and we might be doing one down the line that you suggested. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's find out what if the Lions did not go winless in 2008. I'll see you guys at the end of the season. Okay, so we made it to the end of year number 1, and we actually finished 9-8 on the year, tied with the Chicago Bears for the division win. We obviously didn't win it because we are not in the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs. The Bears won it, and we're the 4 seeds, so because they won the division. So unfortunately, the NFC this year was too good to not allow 2 9-8 teams from the same division get in. Unfortunate for us. If we would have won that tiebreaker, maybe we would have got in. We obviously would have gotten in as the division leader. But hey, 9-8 after we are trying to not go winless, I'd say that's a really, really big improvement. I think the main thing is that Calvin Johnson just absolutely dominated. We'll take a look at the numbers here. Jeff Garcia had a pretty good year. 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, 11 picks. That's a very solid year from a veteran quarterback. I'm happy to see it. Rushing, Kevin Jones, 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's a good year from a okay running back. And Calvin had 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. Dominated. Roy Williams also dominated. What a nice 1-2 punch that is. Just brilliant, these two guys. And then Mike Williams, the rookie from Alabama, has 866 yards and 10 touchdowns. 3 really, really good receivers on this team. We just need a quarterback that can be efficient enough, and a receiving core or a running back that can be efficient enough, and then a defense that can hold their own. Earl Holmes had 135 tackles that led the team. James Davis had 112. Dre Bly, 91. Awesome to see from our stud number 1 corner. Tackles for loss was Sean Rogers with 25. Boss Bailey had 20. Corey Redding had 17. Dan Wilkinson had 11. Sack leader, Sean Rogers had 8, 7.5 for Boss Bailey. A couple guys had 4, some made 3, 2.5, 1. Interception leader, Earl Holmes and Dre Bly both had 3, and then a couple guys had 1 as well. That is how we start the What If episode, with a 9-8 record and missing the playoffs. But hey, that's a big improvement. That's a very, very big improvement over what it was in the original timeline. I have to say that. So considering we went 0-16 in the original timeline, and now in this alternate universe, we went 9-8 in year number 1, I'd say that's really, really good, obviously. Now we just need to work in the offseason, getting a quarterback, getting some good defensive guys, probably getting a better running back. Obviously, we got to fix the offensive line, too. That's a big problem. Probably getting a whole new offensive line, not just like a guard or anything. I think the whole offensive line could use a retool, a facelift. Season recap: the Colts won the Super Bowl, so Peyton Manning gets a Super Bowl ring, just like in the real life timeline. Edgerrin James, though, is the Super Bowl MVP. Carson Palmer wins MVP for the Bengals. Chad Johnson and Michael Strahan are the players of the year. And then Jason Campbell and Justin Tuck are the offense and defensive rookies of the year. Very interesting choice for that, but whatever. We move to the off season of year number 1 into the re-signing period. Who is going to need a new contract? I think we have a good amount of money, like 60 million or something like that. 61 million. Yeah, 61.6 million is a very good amount of money to re-sign some people if we need to. Corey Redding probably needs to come back. Boss Bailey had a pretty good year. I might want to bring him back as well. And there's not really anybody else that I need to bring back. So let's focus on Corey Redding here. Let's sign him up for 3 years, 5.5 and 4.5. That should be good. He's excited to come back. So Corey Redding is back. We still have 52 million. Boss Bailey doesn't want to be here, and he's probably going to be pretty expensive. And considering he doesn't want to be here, we have to overpay for him as well. I'll give him 6.5 and 8.5. He's going to test out free agency. I didn't think he was going to come back. I didn't want to pay him too much because I just thought that might be a little bit, especially because he's only an 81 overall. That might be a little bit too much money. Jeff Garcia, he had a pretty good year. I'll restructure his contract and give him like that. He's coming back for another season, just so that we have a starter in case I don't bring up another one. I just want to have a backup. I know we have like Orlovsky and Dan Harrington, but I don't, or Joey Harrington. I don't feel confident with those two guys, so I'd rather have Jeff Garcia since he did put up pretty good numbers in year number 1. Let's take a look at this mock draft, though. Take a look at it. So Chris Long is going number 1 to the Dolphins. Jake Long going 2 to the Texans. Matt Ryan 3 to the Vikings. What is our pick at? Our pick is at number 16. They have us taking CJ2K. I don't hate that. I honestly don't hate that. But... oh, we have a second first-round pick, too. That's right, because of the actual real-life Lions. Very interesting there. We could use that to our advantage. I know it's not super realistic, but hey, this is an alternate universe. Who cares? Do we try to trade up to get a quarterback? Is that the move? If we take a look at the quarterback pool, who's the best ones? Obviously, you got Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, and Chad Henne. Those are the top 3 quarterbacks in this class. There's not really anybody else that is even worth drafting. All these guys kind of look like bums. So, do we try to trade up to get a quarterback, or do we wait till 2009? Because we know we have the benefit of hindsight. So we know 2009, 2010, 2011, there's some good quarterbacks in those classes. We might have to wait a little bit longer to get our guy. But if we I could probably trade the dude that I wasn't going to re-sign, Boss Bailey. Or I can't re-sign. I guess I could tag him if I wanted to. What's his franchise tag? 5.4 million for a year? That's not horrible for a productive outside linebacker. I might do that, actually. Let's franchise tag Boss Bailey, have him come back, and I am going to trade Andre Goodman. I'm going to throw him in the trade offers screen, and I'll see kind of the value that he's got. Maybe he's got some hidden value that we don't know about. So let's go to the cornerback list and find Andre Goodman. He's the second best corner that we have, so that could raise his value a little bit. Is there anybody out here that piques my interest a little bit? Marlon Jackson, Scott Fujita, Travis Daniels, Mark Simonu. There's not really anybody. Marshall Yanda. We are looking to replace our offensive line. Marshall Yanda would help in that. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on Marshall Yanda. Let's do that. Let's trade Andre Goodman. We weren't going to re-sign him anyway, and we get a right guard that could really help this offensive line out. So now if we go to the offensive line, left tackle is Jeff Backus. We could replace. Left guard is okay. Center's pretty good, Dominic Raiola. Right guard is Damian Woody, but he's 30 years old now. We could trade Damian Woody and just replace him with somebody else because he's also pretty expensive as well. Dan Campbell. We could get the current Lions coach, Dan Campbell. That'd be pretty funny. Kevin Carter, Michael Lewis. We don't need to get a guard. We could use a tackle, but I don't think they're giving us any decent tackle options. Stacey Andrews. He's 75 overall. Not horrible. I'm kind of feeling Kevin Carter. We also get a 6th round pick, but getting a left end I think could help us out. So we're going to do that deal. Trade Damian Woody because we have Marshall Yanda to replace him. So the left guard spot's good. The center spot's good. Right guard's good. Right tackle needs a little bit of work. But now adding Kevin Carter, who's slightly older, but he can play some defensive depth or maybe even move over to right end. That could be a possibility. We need a new middle linebacker. I could trade one of these guys to get a middle linebacker. I don't know. We still don't know what's in free agency yet, so we'll have to wait and see. Is there anybody of note for Teddy Lehman or Lehman? No, nobody that is really worth it at all. So we'll go into free agency. We got about $49 million. We'll go into free agency and we will see what is available. If there's a good middle linebacker, that would be awesome. If there's a good right tackle, that would be obviously pretty cool. Pretty cool. Right outside linebacker gets an upgrade point. Cool for him. All right, let's go into free agency. Let's hopefully spend some money on some positions of need. So Robert Mathis is here, and he kind of wants to be here. That's intriguing. I like the sound of that. I really do. Jared Allen is also here, but he does not want to be here. Antoine Randall L is here. He does not want to be here, but he has no offers. Very interesting. Let's take a look at middle linebackers. Middle linebackers, there are not many that I like. Junior Seau, but he's old at this point. Shelton Quarles is old too. Is there an outside linebacker that I can move inside? Maybe. I'm not really feeling any of these options, though. Obviously, Robert Mathis is the guy, I would guess. I mean, I'm not even going to waste any time. Let's offer Robert Mathis a contract. I know we're going to be in a bidding war with a lot of teams, but we have the cash, and I want to go for Robert Mathis. Sign him for the entire length of this challenge, this whole episode. Robert Mathis, we're in a battle with the Buccaneers. I don't know if we're going to be able to bring him in. Right tackle spots, there's not really anybody that's, there's not really anybody that's interested in us, unfortunately. Centers aren't great. Ben Hamilton. Marvel Smith, or Marvell Smith, that could be a nice, like, right tackle bridge player, maybe. Tight end's not really there. Antoine Randall L. I'm kind of interested in Antoine Randall L just because he's got no offers and he's a decent overall. And then quarterback, I don't know why Joe Flacco's in here. He's going to be in this draft class that's coming up. Let's see. I think I'm going to offer Antoine Randall L. This might be a little bit stupid because it could be considered a waste of money since we have Roy Williams and Calvin Johnson. But having a third receiver could be pretty good. And is that everything that I want to do? It's only 2 players. Doesn't really feel like we've done much in this class, but I don't know if we really need to at this point. I think we're going to rock with those 2 signings. I don't even know if we'll get either of them. That's the thing. We'll hit the evaluation thing. They both signed, and we only got Antoine Randall L. So the guy that I kind of even didn't really want is the guy that we signed. I wanted Robert Mathis more than I wanted Randall L. But hey, getting another really good receiver to pair alongside Calvin Johnson and Roy Williams, along with our rookie that's not a rookie anymore. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We're going to have Jeff Garcia start again just because. Let's see. I like the offensive line. Looks okay except for that right tackle spot. We're going to have to do some work in this offseason, or in this draft, or to try to figure things out. But I think we're going to keep the rest of our money. Who knows what the contract situation's looking like headed into these next couple of years. So we want to keep as much cap space open as possible so that we can sign our guys back, so we can keep whatever core we have ready to go. But the new mock draft is out, and it still has Chris Long going to 1. It doesn't look like anybody's really changed, except for they have us taking Joe Flacco now instead of CJ2K. Did he fall, or did he rise up? They also have us taking Ryan Clady, which I wouldn't hate. Did Chris Johnson move up? I didn't even notice. No, Chris Johnson's not at the top of the draft. Where did he go? He must have fell. Did he fall out of the first round? Oh, no, he fell all the way down to 27. That's crazy. Okay. I don't know why he would have fallen all the way down there, but that's better for us to take him later in the draft. We might as well keep moving forward, see if any other changes happen with mock draft number 5. Because that'll be the basis for what the first few picks will be. So we'll take a look at mock draft number 5. We'll see if any major changes happen. See if Chris Long is still going number 1 to Miami. We also do our private workouts pretty quickly. But mock draft number 5 has the same top 5. No surprises there. Did CJ jump back up? He did. He jumped back up to number 15, right above us. Seattle has back-to-back picks. That's pretty funny. They have us taking Joe Flacco. I don't really want to take Joe Flacco. I don't really know. This is going to be an interesting draft because it's not like amazing, The 2008 draft class isn't like amazing. I don't really know who to take. We're obviously not going to be able to get any of these big name guys unless we trade up. I don't know. I guess we'll go into the draft and see how the chips fall. Chips? Let's do our private workouts really quickly though. Let's see. Let's go with Aqib Talib, Chris Johnson, and probably an offensive lineman. Maybe like Dwayne Brown or Calais Campbell. Let's do Calais Campbell. Those will be the 3 guys that I pick for my private workouts. Who knows if we'll draft any of them? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. Let's go to the draft though. Season number 1, 2008 draft is here. We have the, what did we have, like 12th pick or something like that? Start the draft. Start drafting. We will pause. Oh, we have 16. That's right. So Miami Dolphins take Chris Long. No surprise there. It's probably going to be following the mock draft to a T for the first couple of picks, and it is. First 5 picks go, 6 pick, 7 pick, 8 pick. All right, we're on track right now. There goes Glenn Dorsey. Vernon Golston goes. Chris Williams. Derek Harvey. We're getting to the Seattle picks where they had projected Chris Johnson in the final mock draft. We'll see if they take him with this pick. Robert Henderson. Now, he was projected to go 15 to the Seattle Seahawks. Do they take him or do we want to trade up? Is that the move? Do we solidify our running back right here? Is that what we do? Or do we just wait 1 pick and grab somebody else? I don't think this is the class to get a quarterback. As much as I think Joe Flacco could help us, I don't think this is the class to get a quarterback. This could be a class to get a corner, which we do kind of need. Aqib Talib could be good. What about DRC? His stats are pretty good. I think DRC's actually projects better than Aqib. At least that's what it seems like right now. So we're probably going to take one of these 2 corners, probably DRC. But do we trade up? I mean, they might not even take CJ. That's the thing. Like, they could pass on him. But I guess we'll see. I'm not going to trade up. They do take him. I figured that they would. I figured that they would take Chris Johnson. No surprise there. We are going to take Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Oh, look at those speed numbers. 97 speed, 98 agility, 98 acceleration. DRC is going to be an absolute stud for us to pair alongside Dre Bly. And then we have pick number 24, so we'll go to that. Joe Flacco goes to the Cardinals. Donnie Avery. Aqib Talib goes to the Bears. The Bears. Kenny Phillips. Lawrence Jackson. Mike Jenkins. And then Antoine Cason. All right, so now we're up again. And the tackle spots are still available. Who projects to be better? Jeff Ota? Ooh, his physicals do not look great. He's probably not amazing. What about Ryan Clady? Ryan Clady's probably pretty good, and they had us projected him earlier in the mock drafts, earlier in the season. Ooh, Ryan Clady's probably the guy. Let's take Ryan Clady. Hidden development, 87 strength, 85 acceleration. That's probably going to be our right tackle. That's probably going to be our right tackle of the future. We'll skip a few more picks, and then we'll skip to our actual pick, just to kind of see where the first round goes. Felix Jones, Balmer, Curtis Lofton, there goes Calais Campbell, first round pick. I expected that. All right, let's skip to our second round pick. Pick 16 in the second round. I didn't mean to back out there. That's my bad. Who's on the board for us at pick 16 here in the second round? Rashard Mendenhall is interesting. Ray Rice is interesting. Jason Jones, but he has F tackling. Martellus Bennett. Kevin Smith. There's Jamal Charles. He's round 2 to 3. Do we think that Jamal falls to the third round? Because I don't really want to take him this early in the second round. I think we could get somebody else and then still get him, even if we have to trade back up into the back half of the second round. I think this is a Ray Rice pick right here. I think we get our running back, or at least hopefully our running back. Ray Rice, forget what he did in real life. This is an alternate timeline. He never did those things. He's on the Detroit Lions as our running back. I like that pick in the second round. That's good value. Now, do we think Jamal Charles would be there? I don't know if it matters anymore because we did get Ray Rice, but Jamal Charles is a freak of nature. He's always going to be somebody that I look to maybe get. We simulate to our pick in the third round. I'm going to do this pick, and then we'll skip the rest of the draft. Did Jamal Charles make it this far? No, he got picked in the second round, or at least at some point before our next pick. I figured he would. All right, so now where do we go in the third round? We've already got a ton of pretty good players I'm pretty confident in. Cliff Averill, Philip Wheeler. Ooh, there's some good players. We do need a middle linebacker, and Philip Wheeler could be that guy. We pair him alongside Boss Bailey. That could be a very good combination. Does he have good speed? He has solid speed. Not as much as I was hoping for. His stats don't look that bad. He looks pretty good. Philip Wheeler or Cliff Averill. It's one of the two. Ooh, Cliff's physicals look pretty good. Cliff. Do we take Cliff or do we take Phillip? I think we need middle linebacker more than we need right end, so I'm going to take Philip Wheeler. Only normal development, but he's got 87 acceleration, 84 speed. He could turn out to be very, very good, and it is kind of easy for middle linebackers to go up to star development if they have like 100-plus tackle seasons and good seasons like that, so I'm not too mad about that. And I will skip to the fourth round just to see if Cliff Averill's there. If he's not, then we'll just skip to the end of the draft. But I'm just curious. I want to see if he's still available. William Hayes is still here, but is Cliff Averill? I don't see him on the board. He must have gotten taken. Okay, so that's not a big deal. Although, how good is William Hayes? Is William Hayes worth taking? He might be a good replacement. You know what? I'm going to take him. We're going to take William Hayes, and then now we'll skip. Now I promise we'll skip to draft recap. I think we had a pretty good draft. We got a new running back in Ray Rice. We got a corner in DRC who I think is going to be a stud for us. We got a right tackle in Ryan Clady. I think this team is going to be very, very good pretty quickly, too. I think these guys are going to develop pretty soon. So a 76 overall is DRC. Clady's a 77, and Ray Rice is a 73. Then we got a 69, nice, in Philip Wheeler. 66 in William Hayes, and then they drafted a couple guys that aren't very good. Okay, so I like the draft. I think we got a lot of value for the picks that we were given, and the spot that we were given. Best player in the class is Deshaun Jackson, 82 overall. Chris Johnson's an 80. Gerard Mayo's a 79. No surprises there. Aqib Talib ends up being a 78, but that's not too bad. It's only a 2-point difference, and I think DRC is probably going to be a little bit better because he's faster. So I guess we'll see in these next 4 years who turns out to be better, but I'm projecting it's DRC. But now we take a look at this new look Lions team. The offense is not there yet. Obviously, we don't have our quarterback yet, but we have wide receivers that I'm confident. I'm confident in all 4 of our wide receivers. They want to start Joey Harrington. I guess I don't hate that. He's a 76 overall. We have an offensive line that I feel okay with. At least everybody. Yeah, I feel pretty confident with this offensive line. Wide receivers, I'm confident in. On the defense, I'm kind of confident in the defense. We have good corners, or at least 3 good corners. We have some good pass rushers. Yeah, I think this team is a sneaky playoff team. I think this team could make the playoffs, but that's going to be it for me. I will see you guys at the end of year number 2, and we will see if I'm right and if the Lions can make the playoffs. We've made it to the end of year number 2. Unfortunately, we didn't make the playoffs again this year, and we actually did a little bit worse than what we did last year. We finished 7-10 in year number 2, and I think that might be chalked up to our quarterback situation. Although Joey Harrington, 4,500 yards, 33 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, I don't think it was his problem. That's a really good season, 64% completion percentage. That's a really, really good season. I don't think that's his problem why we didn't win many games. Kevin Jones had 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Ray Rice in his rookie season had 10 touchdowns, 400 yards. Receiving, Megatron played really well, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. Roy Williams almost had 1,000 yards. Antoine Randall L had a big season in his first year here. Defensively, I think is the problem. Teddy Lehman had 119 tackles, 5 tackles for loss. Earl Holmes 118, 94 for Kennedy. All right, very interesting numbers there. Tackle for loss leader, Sean Rogers with 20, Redding 13, Kevin Carter had 10. Sack leaders, 10.5 for Boss Bailey, 9 for Rogers, 8 for Corey Redding. I did re-sign Boss Bailey to an extension during the simulation just so I could capitalize on his interest. So I did bring him back. He is back. We don't have to worry about that. Interception leader, a couple guys had 3, Kennedy, McQuarters, and Dre Bly. Okay. All right, I don't really know what the problem is. Maybe it's the playbook. We are running the actual Lions Dan Campbell playbook. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need to capitalize on Madden 23's busted playbooks and run I don't know, Tampa Bay or Dallas or something, or Kansas City. Something like that. Some of the teams that always do well in simulation, regardless of the rosters. I don't know. We'll do some experimenting in year number 3 because we probably need to make the playoffs in year number 3. Panthers and Steelers make it to the Super Bowl this year. Philip Wheeler gets an upgrade point. That's awesome. Let's see who wins the second Super Bowl. The Colts won it in year number 1. I'm going to say the Steelers win it in year number 2. And they don't. Panthers get the W. Wow, okay. Panthers get the W 38-21. It wasn't even really that close. Season recap, who won the MVP? It is Julius Peppers. All right, no surprises there. Brett Favre is the MVP of the league. Michael Jenkins and Joey Porter are the players of the year. And then Deshaun Jackson and Cedric Ellis are the rookies of the year. So those are your award winners. And we go into the offseason with over $100 million. We can do some damage with over $100 million, that is for sure. I just hope that the free agent class is stacked. You never know. You never know what you're going to get. I do have the 2009 draft class loaded in, so you got Matt Stafford, Clay Matthews, all the boys here. And they have Matt Stafford actually going number 1 to the Texans. We actually are projected to have the number 8 pick. We could do some damage with that number 8 pick. We could trade up to number 1 to get Matt Stafford. That could be our quarterback that we're looking for. Obviously, Matt Stafford, we know, got drafted by the Lions in that spot in real life, in the real timeline. We could recreate that little bit of history and get Matt Stafford back. It could be pretty tough, though. You know what we might do? We might try to use Kevin Jones and our pick to get number 1. So if we go to the trade center and we go talk to the Houston Texans and we say, hey, Houston, what do you want for number 1? What do you want? They want Dre Bly and Mike Williams, pick number 8, a second rounder and a third rounder next year, or Dominic Raiola and DRC. Now, see, Houston, I can't really do that. That's a lot of capital. This one is probably along the lines of what I would have had to do anyway, but I was hoping I could throw in Kevin Jones and they might want him. I don't want to give up Dre Bly. We just signed him to an extension, and we don't really have cornerbacks to replace him just yet. But this one's given up a lot of value. I don't know if I can give up that much draft equity just to get Matt Stafford. So what about if I throw in these 2 guys, the first or the 8th pick and Kevin Jones? Trade offer accepted, so we don't have to give up our second round pick. Maybe I gave up a little bit too much. I don't know. But we are going to get our quarterback. We are going to get Matt Stafford. So that's awesome. And now that we traded Kevin Jones, I don't think that there's anybody else we need to re-sign. Fitzsimmons, I could probably do without, I guess. Although we do need to get a tight end at some point. We're not going to bring back Jeff Garcia anymore. I only brought him back last season because I thought he was going to be our starter, but it ended up being Joey Harrington. I guess we could bring back Fitzsimmons if he wants to come back. He's going to come back. Okay. So we have $90 million going into this offseason, this free agency period. I like the sound of that. That is a lot of money to do some damage. Hopefully it's a good class. We're going to get our quarterback. We're going to jump in here and see what we got. All right. We got Bob Sanders. We got Phillip Rivers. Yeah, Phillip Rivers. Samari Roll, Osi Umenyiora. Okay, there are some very good options here. Quarterback we're not going to focus on because we're going to get our guy in Matt Stafford. Running back, we did just draft Ray Rice, and we're going to let him go be the number 1 this year. Terrell Owens, we have a good receiving core. I'm not too mad about that or not too upset about that. We did re-sign Fitzsimmons, so we're good on tight end, and there's not really any tight ends there available that I want. There's some good left guards available that don't have any offers. I mean, Ben Grubbs doesn't have any offers. He has 33, though. And Mike Whale, or Wale, or Wale, I don't know. Who cares? He doesn't have any, or he only has 1 offer. Jacob Bell is intriguing. There's Krauts. Guards, tackles. Let's see. Chris Jenkins has got 5 offers. See, so the problem is some of these guys just don't want to be here. I don't think we can change their mind with a lot of money, and I don't think it'd even be worth it, really. James Posey. There's Vrabel. Should we try to pick up one of these corners? At least throw an offer at one of the corners? Or maybe Bob Sanders? I think Bob Sanders has got to be the guy. I think we just got to throw an offer at Bob Sanders because he's freaking Bob Sanders. He's 26 years old. He is a 96 overall. He's a stud. And this is the year to have the money to throw at him. So we're going to... Ooh, they were trying to lowball him. Everybody was trying to lowball him. We'll see if he accepts our offer or not. This would be the year to do it when we have the money. So we might as well do it. Other than Bob Sanders, is there a receiver? No. Tight end? No. I don't think that there's another guy in this free agency class that I really want to get. I mean, maybe Osi Umenyiora. Maybe we just throw an offer. If he doesn't sign, he doesn't sign. But maybe we just throw an offer at Osi and see what he says. We're not even in the top half. Okay. So we might have to... I don't know what everybody's offering him, but they are... Looks like they're going crazy with the money. I guess I could jump in there too and give him an absolute bag. I don't know if he's a good idea or not. All right, we're battling with the Seahawks. I don't know if we're gonna get him, but we're battling. And then the last thing I wanted to do is look at corner again. Do we need to throw a thing at one of these guys? I might throw a deal at Nnamdi Asomugha just because he only has 1 offer and he's pretty good. So how about if I throw him that contract? Is that better than what they're offering him? That's better than what the Dolphins are offering. So we got 3 targeted players: Bob Sanders, Osi Umenyiora, and Nnamdi Asomugha, all in the defense, which is something we need to work on. I think we get 2 of them. I don't think we get Osi Umenyiora. Let's hit it. All 3 signed. Did they all 3 sign with us? No, we only got 2. We didn't get Osi Umenyiora, which is what I assumed would happen. But we got Bob Sanders and we got Nnamdi Asomugha. That was 2 really, really, really big signings in the offseason to help this defense out, because I think the defense is probably what's lacking a little bit. So if we go to... And Ray Rice has superstar development, by the way. If we go to this, Bob Sanders becomes our new free safety. We add in Nnamdi Asomugha, so now the cornerback room is stacked, and now we just have to focus on linebacker. And it would have been nice to have, what's-his-face be our pass rusher. Yeah, see this middle here, the outside edges, the secondary's fine. It's just this middle part. that I don't like. With William Hayes here, the low overalls and the linebackers, I just don't like. This front seven's not amazing, so we'll have to do some work on that. But the offensive line I like, and the secondary I like. So that's going to be our free agency for this season. We're going to keep our money. We're going to draft Matt Stafford. He's going to be our quarterback. So then we'll have our quarterback of the series, or of the episode, in Matt Stafford. We'll have probably our running back of the episode in Ray Rice. He does have superstar development. We have our wide receiver core in Calvin Johnson, Roy Williams, Antoine Randall L, and Mike Williams. So we're pretty good on receiving. And then obviously we have the offensive line, who's getting better by the season, I would think, with Marshall Yanda, Ryan Clady, all those guys. So let's take a final look at the mock draft. Mock draft number 5. We're projected to get Matt Stafford, as you would expect. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be getting Matt Stafford. No surprises there. He's going to be our quarterback. And hopefully he can lead us to the promised land. But we'll do some private workouts on some guys later in the rounds, just so we can kind of know. We need to go on defense. So let's go to outside linebackers and look at some of these guys. DeAndre Levy, I think they took him in this draft as well. Middle linebackers, is there anybody? There's James Laurinaitis. Definitely want to scout him. Definitely want to get Ray Maluga. And then left outside linebacker, Arakpo is probably going to be gone. What about defensive line? BJ Raji's available. Left ends. The defensive line class was not amazing back in these days. It's going to be tricky to try to find somebody that's worth taking. I'm going to put it on Senderick Marks, because he's in the 3rd round. So I think if we can snag James Laurinaitis maybe in the 2nd round, and then get, obviously, Matt Stafford in the 1st round, I think those first 2 picks will be very good, because James Laurinaitis could be our linebacker, middle linebacker of the future. Let's start the draft. 2009 NFL Draft. We have the number 1 overall pick, and we will make our selection drafting Matthew Stafford. Welcome back to Detroit, Matt. I'm sorry to do this to you, but you are going to be our quarterback of the future of these next 3 seasons. Welcome in Matthew Stafford. That's a big pickup. That's the piece that we were missing right there. That is definitely the piece that we were missing. So Mark Sanchez goes to the 49ers, just 1 spot away from the Jets. Clay Matthews to the Jets. Aaron Curry. Josh Freeman. Larry English, Brian Arakpo. I was kind of wishing that Brian Arakpo would fall, but I knew that he wouldn't, obviously. Brian Cushing, Ziggy Hood, Malcolm Jenkins. I did not mean to hit the draft board. That's okay. Percy Harvin's also would be awesome to get, but obviously we're not in the market for a receiver, so we're not going to go for it. I'm going to skip to the 2nd round, and we are going to go for, hopefully, James Laurinaitis if he's available. He should be, though. Let's go to middle linebackers, and there he is, James Laurinaitis. We're not going to waste any time. He's going to be our middle linebacker of the future. Only normal development, really? Very interesting. But James Laurinaitis out of the Ohio State University, middle linebacker of the future. I'm expecting mid-70s for him, maybe like a 75, 76 for his overall. All right, so now we're into the 3rd round. Darius Hayward-Bay is still on the board. Are there any tight ends on the board that I would be interested in? Not really. Although Zach Miller, okay. Hello, Zach. You look pretty good for being an undrafted guy. We might come back to you. Actually, he's day 3, not undrafted. We might come back to you in the 4th round if you're still available. I want to stay on defense for a second. Just kind of make sure that there's nobody that I'm missing. Nobody in the right outside linebacker spot. Middle linebacker spot's gone. Left outside linebacker, Joey Parks, maybe? Is Joey Parks good enough? He's got decent numbers, decent attributes, not anything mind-blowing, but hey, we're in the 3rd round, so what do you expect? And here is Senderick Marks. I think I'm going to take Senderick Marks. Only normal development as well. We're not hitting the development traits good in this draft, but that's okay. Let's skip to the 4th round, see if Zach Miller's still on the board. There goes TJ Lang. That's right, this offensive line class was pretty good. Man, Hayward-Bay still on the board. Still on the board. Zach Miller's still there. Let me take a look at the offensive line class just to be sure there's nobody that I want to grab. Matt Slauson. AQ Shipley. Ship? Doesn't look like it. I think we'll just stick with Zach Miller. We'll take him. He could be our tight end. Oh, we struck out with that one. That kind of sucks. All right. So that's going to be the end of our draft. I'll skip to the end of the draft, and we will we'll catch up back at the draft recap. All right, so Matt Stafford ends up being a 78 overall. Very solid for a rookie. James Laurinaitis, I was close. I said 75, 76. He's going to be a 74. So has said Derek Marks. Zach Miller is actually going to be a 75. And then they drafted Matt Slauson in the 5th round. Okay, I don't hate that. 76 overall. Then they got it a couple guys that aren't very good. But we kind of struck out with a no development traits. Does Matt Slauson have one? He does. So the only 2 guys that we drafted, well, I only drafted one of them that had a development trait. Everybody else didn't, except for Matt Slauson, who the CPU drafted. Who's the best player in this class? Is it Matt Stafford? It is LaShawn McCoy, 79 overall, along with Malcolm Jenkins. And then we got Clay Matthews and Matt Stafford and a couple other guys. Okay. But we know our deal. We've upgraded the offense in terms of our quarterback. We've upgraded the defense to an extent. I like what we're working with here. If we go to the lineup, we're probably going to change playbooks now that we have Stafford. No, Stafford's starting for sure. I like the receivers. I like the offensive line now. I like the tight ends. The middle linebacker, or the linebacking core in general, needs a little bit of work. So does the front 7 as a whole. Everybody needs a little work there. But I think that the offense can take over, especially if we change our playbooks. If we go to our schemes and we adjust our offense and defense accordingly, then we can make this work. Vertical power run. The 3-4 under is 100% scheme fit. I will take that. And then we will rock with probably Tampa. Let's rock with Tampa for the offense. And we'll keep Detroit's defense. Nah. We'll go with Buffalo defense. Buffalo defense. I seem like I always go with Buffalo's defense, but they're just pretty good with their playbook. So that's what we'll rock with for Season 3. Matt Stafford, how will he do in his rookie year? I guess we'll find out. I'll see you guys at the end of season number 3. I'm hoping for a playoff berth. We finished up year number 3, and we missed the playoffs again for the 3rd straight year. But hey, to be fair, this team or this division was very, very tough this year. The Vikings won the division at 13-4. Everybody finished very good. The Bears went 9-8, Packers 8-9, and then we went 7-10. So 7-10. Just like we did last year, it just so happens that this division was very, very good this year. I think that we're just waiting on another season of Matt Stafford. I mean, look at these numbers that he put up. Holy crap, rookie season. That's definitely rookie of the year caliber. That might even be MVP numbers. He led the league in passing yards. So if we can just get some better defensive players around him, I think that for year 4 and 5, we could be very, very good. 5,400 yards, 44 touchdowns, 10 picks for Matt Stafford. You love to see it. Ray Rice, 895 yards, 10 touchdowns. He needs to produce a little bit more, but he's still pretty low overall. Calvin Johnson, 1,500 yards. He's such a stud, 13 touchdowns. Roy Williams, 1,300 yards and 5 touchdowns. Antoine Randall L, 987 and 11 touchdowns. What did I tell you? I like the receiving core that we have here. James Laurinaitis led the team in tackles. That's why we needed to bring him in, because he's just a freaking stud. 125 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 3 picks for himself as well. Bob Sanders had 92, and then Boss Bailey had 87 with 10 tackles for loss. Corey Redding led the team with 21. Sean Rogers had 12. Sack leader was Sean Rogers with 10. Bailey had 8.5. Redding had 5. Interception leader was James Laurinaitis. Look at that. Nnamdi Asomugha had 2. Just so did Dre Bly. So I think if we can add some better defensive linemen and some better linebackers on this team, I think those are the missing pieces. Plus, we get year number 2 of Matt Stafford in the Tampa playbook. We get Ray Rice starting to creep up in overalls and develop a little bit more. I'm pretty sure Calvin Johnson's a 99 straight right now. So if we can just hope for the best there. And it's the Colts back in the Super Bowl again. Yeah, Calvin's back to a 99, or he is a 99 now. And freaking Matt Stafford is starting to grow in overall as well. He is an X factor now. I'm pretty sure he was a superstar when we drafted him. So don't get too excited that we drafted an X factor. I'm pretty sure he was a superstar when we drafted him. But now he's playing up to a 93. He's looking really good. The tight ends are looking good. And then, see, I think this defense, if we can work with this defense, if we can get a new defensive lineman, a couple more linebackers, I think that we can really, really make a difference in this year number 4. Colts and Falcons in the Super Bowl. Can the Colts get number 2 of the simulation? That'd be pretty crazy. 2 out of 3 years. They will. They beat the Falcons, and they get 2 out of 3 years. Peyton Manning dominating. And Edgerrin James, he did it. That's his second straight, or that's his second Super Bowl MVP. And Matt Stafford does the dang thing. He wins Rookie of the Year and the MVP of the league. We also got Defensive Rookie of the Year with James Laurinaitis. He balled out with those draft picks right there. And then Alex Brown and Torrey Holt are Offense Defense Players of the Year. But that is a massive, massive boost. James Laurinaitis certainly will be up to star development now. He's got to be once we move, because I'm pretty sure everybody that wins awards, they go up in development traits if they can, if they're not already an X Factor. So I'm pretty sure James Laurinaitis should be up to star development if we jump in and take a look here. Stafford's an X Factor. That's probably why he moved up. Yeah, James Laurinaitis is a star. He might have already been a star last time I checked, or last time we were in the lineup, but I didn't even look. I wasn't really paying attention. So mock draft number 3, we have the 2010 draft class in. We're probably not going to have a great pick. Oh, we have a top 10 pick. That's not horrible, but we don't need a wide receiver. We probably need a defensive player more than anything. So we'll have to take a look at that. We'll have to see kind of what the best play, and we might get somebody in free agency that's a little bit better. You never know. So if we go to negotiations, we have $76 million, and there's not really anybody here. So we can spend all of that money, or a lot of that money, a good chunk of it, in the free agent period, which is coming up right now. I like that. I'm hoping that there's some linebackers. I'm hoping that there's some defensive linemen, because those are the missing pieces. I think those are the keys. Willie Anderson. So there's some good offensive linemen. Reggie Wayne is here. Richard Seymour at 31. Maybe a good rental. Or Simeon Rice. He doesn't have any offers. Ray Lewis. I think what we do is we buy heavy on the older players because they don't have any offers. So if we buy heavy on the older players and we try to just ball out for a win or for a championship, that could be the way to go. So if we just go and we just throw out offers to Ray Lewis, although he has 16 offers, so maybe that's not the best option for him, but I'll try to throw out some money to him. We'll severely overpay for the 33-year-old, and we'll give him this. We'll see kind of where the rest of the teams are offering. They are okay. We're in a battle, but he's probably not going to choose us. Very interesting. All right, so quarterback we don't need, running back we don't need, receiver we don't need, offensive line don't necessarily need. I mean, a 96 left guard is in free agency. He's got 13 offers and he doesn't want to be here, but that's pretty crazy. Curse, Booger McFarlane. We could pair somebody up with Sean Rogers. That'd be nice to pair up Sean Rogers with a decent backup. What about if we offer that to Anthony Adams? We're battling with the 49ers. I don't know if we'll get him. Richard Seymour has nobody interested in him, at least in the first wave. So we will be the team that's interested in Dickie Seymour. And then we'll go with, do we want to go with Ray Lewis? I know he's Ray Lewis, and it would be awesome, but maybe we spend that money elsewhere, and we go for like Marquise Cooper, and we offer him some money, so that way we can kind of get better all around instead of spending it all in one guy. That could be the better option. Strong safety. Are we good with strong safety? I don't even know. I think we are, right? If we go to our lineup, we need a defensive lineman. That's why I'm looking for Richard Seymour. We do need a backup running back, actually. We have Kennedy. That's right. Kennedy's okay. Kennedy's a decent strong safety. So I need to sign a backup running back and maybe another corner, I guess. That could be interesting. So who's a good backup running back for us? Thomas Jones, Cedric Benson. We don't need anybody with like star development, I don't think. And we don't need anybody that's going to be expensive. Let's just go with Ced Ben. I like Cedric Benson. Let's offer him a contract. He can be a nice backup running back for us. And then we'll go look at corners. We only have one more negotiation we can use in this first period. So let's use it on Eric Warfield. He's 31 years old. He really wants to be in Detroit for some reason. Maybe he sees the vision. All right, so that is all of our offers that we can use on this first period. We've got Richard Seymour, Eric Warfield, Anthony Adams, Marquise Cooper, and Cedric Benson. I hope we get them all. Everybody signed. We got Richard Seymour, Warfield, Anthony Adams, Marquise Cooper, and Cedric Benson. Everybody did sign. That is massive. We get a backup D tackle. We get a starting right end. We get another corner to add to the team. We get a outside linebacker to add and a backup running back. That is really, really big. I like the look of that. We probably could use another running back just in case. Who is that? Oh, that's Ray Rice. We already have Ray Rice. We don't need another running back. We're fine. Receivers, we're good. Tight ends, we're good. Offensive linemen, we're still fine with. Simeon Rice didn't accept anybody's offer. Ray Lewis did. I think that's everybody. I think we're good. I think we're good with what we have. I think I improved the team. I hope I did, at least headed into year number 4. The offensive line's looking good. The tight ends are okay. The receivers are looking good. Quarterback's obviously a stud. And yeah, I like having Cooper there now. That definitely looks a lot better. And Seymour makes it look a lot better too. All right, I think I did a good job there with that free agent period. We still have money too, so that's the funny thing. But we've only got this season and next season. We've only got 2 seasons left to try to win a championship with this Detroit Lions team here in this what if scenario. Can we do it? I hope so. I think I've built a solid enough team to make the playoffs. It's just we're getting unlucky with the division. We're in such a tough division with the Bears, Packers, and Vikings that it's kind of tough to figure out what we got. Mike Williams' contract is set to expire, but we'll pick up his 5th-year option just so we don't have to pay him. And then we'll go to free agent recap and take a look at some of our picks. We had, what, the 8th pick or something like that again in the draft? So another top 10 pick. We're getting pretty lucky with these picks because we're not bad enough to where like we have like a number 1 pick, except for last year when we traded for it. But we're also not good enough where we have like a pick 20 or something. We currently sit at pick number 9. They have us taking Eric Berry, which wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world. But I don't think that's the guy. I think the guy is maybe one of these two, Ndamukong Suh or Gerald McCoy, maybe Brandon Graham. I think that's got to be the guys, right? I don't know, because we just signed a D tackle backup in Anthony Adams. We have Sean Rogers. This class isn't like amazing for D tackles or for linebackers is the problem. I will scout Gerald McCoy and Ndamukong Suh just for the fun of it. Rolando McClain, that could be an interesting pickup. He wasn't in the top half, so he'd probably be on the board when we want to take him. I'm going to scout Rolando McClain because he could end up being the guy that we actually do take if I don't decide to trade up. So those are going to be my 3 focus players. We will go to the draft, the year number 4 or the year number 3 draft. No, it's the 2020 draft. We're headed into the 2010s or the 20 whatever. I don't even know. We're headed into year number 4. This is the 3rd draft or whatever it is. All right, so let's start drafting. Pause the draft. Skip number 1 pick. It's going to be Trevor Dillard. Number 2 pick is going to be Sam Bradford. Now here's where things get interesting. So now here's where Ndamukong Suh and Gerald McCoy could go off the board. How good did Rolando McClain end up looking? He's got decent physicals. His skills are not like the best. I don't even know if he's going to end up having hidden development. We know basically for a fact that Ndamukong Suh and Gerald McCoy are going to have hidden development. That's just a given. It's just a matter of, do we try to trade up to get a guy like Ndamukong Suh even when we have Sean Rogers already? That's the question. Or do we just sit back and wait and get a position that we need more of, basically, in Rolando McClain? I think we wait. I think we don't trade up. We sit back. We see how the draft plays out. Trent Williams gets taken by the Browns. Ndamukong Suh gets taken by the Niners. Then Gerald McCoy. Then Joe Hayden. Then Brandon Graham. And then Demaryius Thomas. So now we jump up. We're going to take Rolando McClain. And I think that fills out our middle linebacker spot. He only has normal development, which really does suck. But I figured that would be the case. But I like what we have. Oops, I didn't mean to go to the next round. I don't want to quit, no. I wanted to skip to my next pick is what I wanted to do. All right, so now we have a middle linebacker. We need to focus on something else. Rashad Jones. Jared Odrick, TJ Ward, there's Tebow. Do we go for Tebow for the memes? Oh, hello. I found my guy. The Gronk. We're taking him second round. Rob Gronkowski, welcome to Detroit. We've just given Matthew Stafford a Hall of Fame receiver to throw to and a Hall of Fame tight end to throw to. I like the sound of that. All right, we go to the third round. And what do we have on the board? Is there anything? It doesn't look like there's that much talent left on the board. Okay, what about offensive linemen? Usually there's some sneaky offensive linemen down the board, especially in the guard spots. This guy looks okay, but not special. Man, there's really nobody left in the guard spots? Usually there's at least one guy. Or in the offensive line spots. That's interesting. Let's see. Oh, there's Everson Griffin. That's what I was talking about. I knew there's somebody that'd be down there. He's probably just who we're going to take. Although Geno Atkins. Ooh. Ooh, okay. And Navarro Bowman. All right, there's some people that I'm interested in taking that could help us out, I think. The only problem is we just took a guy in Rolando McClain, but I am going to take Navarro Bowman. Hidden development. He might end up being better than Rolando McClain, who we took in the first round, which is kind of crazy. Do I try to trade up to get Geno Atkins? I think that might be a good bet. Let's talk to the Chicago Bears. I know they're a division rival, but it shouldn't be too difficult to trade up into the third round, I wouldn't think. There's no trade offers for this package, really? I'll give you a 4 next year. They don't like that. Okay, I'll give them a player, probably. I guess I could give them something else that's pretty decent. They want a right tackle. I don't have anybody that they want. My offensive line depth is not very good. I guess I could give them Philip Wheeler. They want Philip Wheeler? Because we did draft 2 middle linebackers. No, they don't want... They could want Philip Wheeler, though. Let's go to draft picks. I'll give them my 3rd next year plus Philip Wheeler. We'll see what they say to that. That is accepted. It probably wouldn't have taken Philip Wheeler. It probably would have been picked. But we're going to take Geno Atkins here. Get another D tackle. Just for the giggles. Unless we take Everson Griffin. You know what? I'm going to bank on the fact that Everson Griffin stays until round 4. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't. That's okay. Geno Atkins, welcome to the Detroit Lions. And then we'll simulate to the 4th round. If Everson Griffin is gone, then we'll just end the draft. But if he's there, we'll take him. Let's take a look. Is Everson Griffin on the board? Survey says he's not. All right, so we will end the draft there. But I really do think that we drafted a very, very good draft. I think we've been hitting on all of our drafts that we've done so far, in my personal opinion. I think we've hit on every single draft. And now we just got to wait to see the development of the guys. So, draft is Rolando McClain, a 73 overall. Navarro Bowman ends up being better than Rolando McClain. I guess I should have guessed that. Gronkowski is an 84. Navarro Bowman's a 79. And Geno Atkins is an 80. And then they drafted a bunch of guys that are kind of scrubby. All right, I like the look of that. So we kind of waste our first round pick on Rolando McClain when we could have drafted like Ndamukong Suh or something. But that's okay. We got the tied for the best player in the class with Trent Williams and Rob Gronkowski. Antonio Brown. I always forget about Antonio Brown in that draft. We should probably draft him at some point in one of these what if scenarios. We should probably draft Antonio Brown, but I always forget about him because he always goes so late into the draft. But that is the 2010 draft, and now we are headed into year number 4, the year number 4 simulation. This is the last chance for off-season stuff, because then we do the year 5 simulation, but we don't go any further than the playoffs. So this is what the team looks like headed into year number 4. We take a look at the lineup. I like the look of it, man. I think we are playoff bound as Gronkowski's going to get the start. The defense looks a lot better. We added some key free agents. We added some pieces around. I think this defense is ready to go. I don't think they're going to be a hindrance anymore. I don't think they're going to be holding us back. I think this offense, if Matt Stafford has another really good season, if he goes back-to-back MVPs, or even has half the season he had last year, I think we could make the playoffs and maybe even win the division. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 4. We've made it to the end of year number 4, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. We made the playoffs. We actually won the division 13-4 and are in the divisional round of the playoffs. We got the bye, so we are the best team in the entirety of the NFL. That is right. I told you it was just a matter of time before we dominated this league, and Matt Stafford does it again. He has an even better season in terms of passing yards and touchdowns. Matt Stafford's going crazy. 5,700 yards and 54 touchdowns with 15 picks. That is a lot, but when you're a gunslinger, you're going to be throwing a lot of picks. And he had 75% completion percentage, which is absolutely unreal for the amount of yards he was throwing for and the amount of attempts he had. Unbelievable season. That's got to be back-to-back MVPs for Matt Stafford. It's just got to be. Ray Rice had 995 yards and 16 touchdowns. He couldn't get 5 more yards and get 1,000 yards. Receiving, I mean, everybody ate. Everybody ate. Calvin Johnson had 1,700 yards, 9 touchdowns. Roy Williams had 1,200 yards, even with 10 touchdowns. And Randall L had 1,100 yards and 17 touchdowns. Gronk had 943 and 7. Everybody was getting theirs. That's just sharing the wealth right there. Navarro Bowman, his rookie season, had 116 tackles. Dear Lord. Boss Bailey had 95. I'm happy that we re-signed him. Kennedy had 79. Asamoah had 79. Tackle for loss leader Corey Redden had 13. Anthony Adams had 11. Seymour had 9. Sack leaders was Richard Seymour. Good job for Dickie Seymour. 15 for him. Sean Rogers had 14. All right, very interesting numbers there. Nnamdi Asamoah had 5 picks. Dre Bly had 4. Sanders had 3. I mean, it's got to be MVP numbers for Matt Stafford. It's just got to be. 5,700 yards, really? And 54 touchdowns? But we do make the playoffs for the first time. Can we get out of the divisional round playing the LA Rams? At this point, they were the St. Louis Rams. And we do beat them. 41-27, taking on the Giants, who have been in the Super Bowl before, if I'm not mistaken. They were in season 2, I think, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they were. They lost to the Steelers, I think. No, maybe not. I don't remember. But we've got NFC title game, Lions and Giants. Come on, Stafford, get us to the promised land. We lost 35-32. We got close. We really did. We could sniff the Super Bowl. We've got one more opportunity to get there. We just need to have another good offseason like we had the past couple of times. And the Colts are in for the 3rd year. They've been in 3 out of 4, the Colts. I don't know what Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James are doing over there in Indianapolis, but whatever it is, it's working because they are getting themselves 3 appearances in 4 years and maybe 3 championships in 4 years. I guess we'll find out. What do they have to say? Are they going to be 3-time champions? No, they lose to the Giants. They came up close. It was very, very close, but they could not get the job done. Job's not done. All right, season recap. Did Matt Stafford win back-to-back? No, Dante Culpepper. What? Dante Culpepper. We got to take a look at Dante's numbers. They could not have been better than Matt Stafford's. What did Dante throw? What did he absolutely throw for? He threw for 56. It said over there on the side he was second on the team. What team is he on? I think he's on the Bills. Where are the Buffalo Bills at? Dante Culpepper, 5,600 yards, 47 touchdowns, 10 picks. So he had a little under 100 yards less than Stafford. He had 47 touchdowns to Stafford's 54, but he had 10 picks to Stafford's 15. And he had a lower completion percentage. I'd still give that MVP to Stafford. He was robbed. Hashtag Stafford was robbed of MVP. That is unreal. A better completion percentage by 11. Better passing yards by a slight margin, but still better. And then clearly better passing touchdown numbers by a big margin. And he was robbed of his MVP, his back-to-back MVPs. Absolutely insane. I cannot believe they gave Dante. I don't even care if they would have gave him Offensive Player of the Year. Stafford was clearly the better quarterback there to win MVP. But he doesn't do it. I feel robbed. I feel like it was a rigged election, and I'm not happy about it. Can we even afford? We can't afford Corey Redding, so we're gonna have to let him go. That's kind of unfortunate. Luckily for us, we don't need to re-sign anybody else here, and this is the last offseason anyway, so it doesn't matter. But is there any way that I can get something back for Corey Redding? I really would prefer to not let him go for nothing, especially because he's been a good piece for us. So can we get a left end in return that is equal value? We can get Antonio Brown. I don't think we need Antonio Brown. We need a left end to replace him, because whoever we draft is probably not going to be good enough right away for one season. So it doesn't look like they're offering me any left ends, so I'll have to go in manually to see if I can do something with it. Is there a left end that is good enough for one season that we can try to get? It might have been that first guy that we saw on the Bears, because he was a good overall. He was a little older. There's Julius Peppers. Is there any way? Nah, he's probably too expensive. But is there any way? Nah, I didn't think so. That'd be funny, though. Let's just go back to the Bears. They had a pretty good player, 31 years old. He's hopefully not super difficult to trade for. Oh, straight up. He's only one overall difference between him and Redding. I just hope his contract isn't too bad. What was his contract? Is he up? I guess I'll just go to left ends. He's got 1 year remaining on a 2-year deal. I think that means his contract is up next season. Let's take a look at negotiations. Is his contract up now? Yes, perfect. So we don't have to pay him. And he's an X Factor. Oh, that changes things, because freaking dude, Corey Redding, was only a star. So if he can keep that up for the season, we don't have to pay him. We might have just gotten a steal, an absolute steal. We've got the 2011 draft in here, by the way. And with only $5 million, I think we're just going to let this go. There he is. Ugh, I hate you, Dante. How could you steal my MVP? You didn't even get re-signed by your own team. You're the defending MVP. You didn't even re-sign. Absolute steal. He stole it. Robbery. Highway robbery. Stole that MVP from me. I can't believe it. I'm never going to live that down. Matt Stafford got robbed. Absolutely robbed of his MVP. And I will not hear any slander of Matt Stafford. But we head into the final draft as I recover from my trauma. We head into the final draft, 2011. I don't even really know what we need at this point. We're pretty good everywhere. I mean, we made it to the NFC title game this year. I'm expecting Stafford to only get better. So it's not like we really need anything at this point. Maybe just some depth. We could use depth, I guess. That is probably an issue. especially on like the defensive line. I would think there's probably not a lot of good players that we have on the defensive line, so depth is probably a big key. I don't even know what pick we have, but there's some good players in this 2011 draft class. We know that. J.J. Watt's there. If we could snag J.J. Watt, that'd be amazing, but I don't think what is our draft pick? It's probably in the 20s, right? Let's see. J.J. Watt's going number 1. We're definitely not snagging him. Alden Smith. What are we picking at? We are picking at number 29, taking Cam Hayward. Hey, I don't hate that. I like Cam Hayward. Go Bucks. Let's start the draft, the final draft of the video. Pause it. Who's going to go number 1? It is J.J. Watt. No surprise there. Alden Smith. Cam Newton to the Titans. Marcel Darius. Von Miller. Jake Locker. Christian Ponder. Hardly know her. Tyron Smith. You know what? Let's skip all the way to my pick at number 29. Who is available for us? Mike Pouncey, Phil Taylor, Muhammad Wilkerson, Cam Hayward. Okay, there's some okay players here. There's some very, very good players. I like our options. Let me take a little peek skis at big old Cam. He's got good power moves, good tackling. His awareness and finesse moves are not great. They leave a lot to be desired. What about big old Mo Wilkerson? He's even worse, I would say. What about Mike Pouncey? I do like a good Mike Pouncey, although I'd like my center to have not F awareness. But you know what? Screw it. Mike Pouncey, first round pick. Don't know if that was a good idea or not. Who cares? We have a pick in the second round, and then I traded away that third round pick to get number 1 pick to get Stafford. I think, right? Is that what I did? I don't remember. Jarvis Jenkins, Shane Vereen, DeMarco Murray. At this point, what do we even draft? Randall Cobb, maybe? Ryan Mallett, RIP to him. You know what? Let's just go get DeMarco Murray. He's not going to impact the team at all. But screw it. Whatever, man. Let's get DeMarco. Back-to-back hidden development players. Another good running back on the team. And we'll go to the third round go to the fourth round. If there's anybody there, we'll take them. But I don't expect them to be there. Anybody of note? Yeah, there's really nobody that's that good. Which is what I expected. Bilal Powell, though. Yeah, we'll just let the CPU handle the rest of it. It doesn't matter. We're riding high on our NFC Championship appearance. We're hoping to go back to this final season, headed into year number 5, and do some damage. Do some big old damage with this team that I've constructed. This might be my favorite team that I've built in this What If video so far, in this What If series so far. Pouncey's a 77. DeMarco Murray's a 71. They drafted Byron Charles, 68. And we got Byron Maxwell at the 5th round. He's a 75. That's a nice little pickup in the 5th round for a corner that could be some good depth for this one season. Best player in the class was Jason Kelsey at 88 overall. I kind of forgot Jason Kelsey was in this class. There's a lot of good players in this class, a lot of good overalls. But at that point, I mean, we had a very high draft pick in terms of it was late in the round, and we didn't really need anything. So I'm not too upset that we missed out on some of those good players, because I think this team in year number 5 is championship worthy. I mean, we've got our stud quarterback in Matt Stafford. We've got our stud tight end in Gronkowski. We've got our stud receiver in Calvin Johnson. We've got a good running back. We've got good receivers around Calvin Johnson. We've got a good offensive line, good enough offensive line. Our defense looks a lot better. Navarro Bowman's a superstar. Bob Sanders is a superstar. The corners look good. Safety could be a little bit better, but it's okay. The linebackers around Navarro Bowman are good. The defensive line is really, really good. I like it. I like it. I like it. I think this could be the year. I mean, it has to be the year if we want to win a championship, because it's the final season. But I will see you guys at the playoffs of year number 5, the final season. Can we do it? I hope so. Year number 5 is over. And we didn't do as good as we did last year with the 13 wins, but we got 11 wins. We won the division for the second straight year. And unfortunately, we didn't be the number 1 seed, but we are in the playoffs still, going up against the Eagles in the wild card. And Matt Stafford, for the 3rd straight year, he's led the league in passing yards each of his 3 seasons he's been in the league. That is crazy. And he had just as good, maybe better, of a season than last year when he was snubbed of the MVP from Dante Culpepper. He had 5,700 yards, 53 touchdowns, which is only 1 less than what he had last year, and he dropped his interception numbers from 15 to 11. This has got to be an MVP. He should have had 3 straight. We'll see if they give him this one. Ray Rice still cannot eclipse 1,000 yards, but he is in the Tampa Bay playbook. That is understandable. 14 touchdowns, though. And spreading the wealth again, Calvin Johnson, 1,500 yards, 16 touchdowns. Roy Williams, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. Gronkowski finally gets 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. And Antoine Randall L got 1,000. He was a sneaky good pickup for us early in this rebuild. Then on the defensive side of things, Navarro Bowman, another 100 tackle season, 123, 6 tackles for loss. Bailey had 98, Warfield had 89, Dre Bly and Asamoah had 87. Tackle for loss leader was Sean Rogers. No surprises there. The pickup, the trade that we'd made for Corey Redding, the guy that we got back, seems to be producing very well with 17 sacks. Is that the lead? It is. Seymour had 13.5, Rogers had 10.5, Atkins had 8.5, Adams had 7.5. Sack leader or interception leader was Dre Bly. Boss Bailey had 3, Asamoah 2, Sanders had 2, Bowman and Kennedy had 1. It's got to be an MVP for Stafford. It's got to be, but we can't worry about that right now because we've got wild card weekend against the Eagles. Come on, boys, get the W. Keep the dream alive, and we lose in the first round. Of course we do. I don't understand Madden simulation. I really don't. I talk about this all the time. I don't understand Madden simulation, man. Where's the logic? How do we lose that game? Matt Stafford threw for 5,700 yards during the regular season. How do we lose that game? I have literally no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me. This game makes 0 sense. Literally nothing. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Because it's the Bills and the Falcons in the Super Bowl, and this is where we find out if Matt Stafford gets his 2nd MVP, what should have been his 3rd MVP. But we find out here. We do have a lot of money, actually. $59 million. That's pretty good cap space money right there. I'm glad that we're not going any further because we'd have to pay Matt Stafford a ton of money. He probably won't even close to $300 million, I would guess. But let's see. Did he get it? They gave it to him. They realized that they made a mistake last year. They shouldn't have given it to Dante Culpepper. It should be 3 straight Matt Stafford seasons. It should have been 3 straight. But he didn't do it. They gave it to him this year. They felt bad. They realized their mistake, and they gave it back to him now. So Matt Stafford, a 2-time MVP in this 5-year simulation. He was only in the league for 3 years. He should have been 3 straight. So that just goes to show you how dominant the Tampa Bay playbook is when you have a quarterback like Matt Stafford on your roster and a receiver like Calvin Johnson and a tight end like Rob Gronkowski. I really loaded up this team, man. This, like I said earlier, this might be my favorite team that I've put together in this entire What If series so far, the 6 other episodes. I think this might be my favorite team. The offensive line could use a little bit more work with a better right tackle and left guard. But overall, this team, you can't get much better than what we have. You still need to do a little bit of work around the edges with maybe some extra some extra left outside linebackers, some extra linebackers in general, maybe a better strong safety, some younger pass rushers. We have D-tackle locked up with like Geno Atkins and Anthony Adams and stuff. Sanders is still good. The corners are still pretty good. Like I said, the offensive line could use a little bit of patchwork. The receivers are great. We have 4 really, really solid receivers. Our quarterback is obviously a stud. The only problem with this team is keeping them together long term because Matt Stafford's going to want a huge bag. Calvin Johnson's going to want a big bag. Everybody's going to want a huge, huge contract. I mean, look at these contracts that are up. So next season, we have, if we were to go next season, we would have to pay Sanderick Marks, we have to pay Zach Miller, James Laurinaitis. All the rookie contracts are up. Dre Bly would need a new contract. Slauson, Seymour maybe. We probably would trade Seymour. Yonda, Asamoah, Roy Williams, Bob Sanders, Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson. all of those guys are up for a contract after next season. So it's a good thing we're not going. That's the only problem with a team this good, is that all their contracts happen to be up at the same time. So it'd be very, very difficult to keep them all together. But I think that if we were able to keep them all together, this team has very good potential to win a championship in the next couple of seasons. Unfortunately, we're only going 5 years. That is going to do it for me. We didn't win a championship, but we did find out an alternate universe where the Lions do make the playoffs and actually never go winless. They never go winless, and they never have their fans put the paper bags on their heads. They never have that disappointment. They never have that humiliation of never winning a game in a season. And they make an NFC title game, which is something that they can say never happened. Or they can say that didn't happen in the real timeline. And Matt Stafford went 2 out of 3 in MVPs and should have went 3. Hashtag Stafford was robbed for MVP. But that's going to do it for this What If episode. Like I said in the beginning, if you have any other What If scenarios you want to see in a future video, leave them down below in the comment section. I'd be happy to do them. But if not, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.